If you're not respecting yourself, why would I respect you?
How many of our parents are in bad relationships? How do I walk away from this relationship that I've been in for 7 years?
Yeah.
And I go, do you want 7 more years of this kind of abuse? Welcome back to our channel. This is my best friend Anna.
And this is my best friend Sabrina. Babe, how are you today?
I am great because whenever I'm with you, we are better together.
Babe, what are we talking about today?
Well, we're actually talking about something pretty serious that we're seeing a lot around us in our circles.
Yeah.
The consequences of not valuing yourself. Because we see people, they get into a lot of negative situations, bad relationships, bad friendships, because of the lack of value they place on themselves. So that is what we're talking about today. The consequences of not valuing yourself.
So babe, what does it look like to not value yourself?
When I think of someone not valuing themselves, I think about someone who thinks they do not deserve better than what they currently have, or that better is not out there for them. They're in a bad situation and they think, you know what, I don't deserve anything better. This is my portion in life. I'm going to stay here.
Sometimes I do think about this, and I think it comes from childhood that we're not taught in school how to value ourselves, or we're not encouraged sometimes at home because many of our parents, they are busy trying to provide. Our society doesn't place emphasis in these, like how to cultivate self-value and self-esteem. So I could see how someone could grow up not valuing or not knowing how to value themselves.
Yeah. And you know what, you talk about parents, like our parents are busy or they didn't teach us that. Maybe they weren't even taught that.
Yeah.
They weren't even taught to value themselves. How many of our parents are in bad relationships because they did not learn that they could walk away from a relationship, or they shouldn't proceed into marriage with this person because this person was treating them bad, and they think they could maybe love the bad away from this person, and they stay with this person because they weren't taught to choose themselves. In talking about that, I remember a story I saw on the Steve Harvey show. This young woman was sharing her story that she was in a relationship for like 7 years, and the guy was abusing her physically and emotionally by cheating on her.
Wow.
And she was crying to Steve, like, how do I walk away from this relationship that I've been in for 7 years? And I go, do you want 7 more years of this kind of abuse? You know, to value yourself is to say, you know what, I've had enough. I am not going to take this
anymore.
Right. I'm going to value myself enough to say, you know what, I'm going to start over. Maybe something better is out there for me. And if not, I'm going to stay content with loving on me, loving myself, but not taking this kind of abuse and cheating.
They rather stay in something toxic that they know, because they don't know what it's on the other side. But you should learn how to feel comfortable in your solitude, and how to do self-work, and all of these, like self-esteem and self-value, start in solitude. You should learn first how to love yourself. You should start by your own hand to love yourself. You can't go and ask others, like, please love me. Like in this situation with this lady, like she was asking Steve Harvey like what to do. Was she planning to fight for this situation, or was she asking for strength to move on? If I was in her place, I will be asking or searching for ways to move on, not to save this relationship, because after 7 years, I don't think that was going to change.
And I think one of the consequences of not valuing yourself is fear. You know, you become fearful that I can't move on. You also stay in this place where you're unvalued. Maybe it could be work. It's not only in relationship that in romantic relationships that people stay where they shouldn't. It's also in friendship, platonic relationships, in jobs. You stay in a job and you have a really crazy boss that is not valuing anything you do. You're constantly overworked. And I'm not advocating for people to leave their jobs.
Because that is tricky.
Because if you have a family and kids to take care of, I'm not saying get up and leave your job, but can you get some more skills, get another bachelor's degree? Can you think about starting a company, taking the baby steps to get there in order to make your life better? But to sit and say, you know what, this is my portion, it will never get better, that is the not valuing yourself. Because I do believe you can be in a job and having a plan to move out of it, you know, building, laying the blocks to say, I'm going to get out of it. But to never think you can deserve better, I think that is the not valuing yourself.
And it's difficult to have these kind of boundaries. Sometimes it's even difficult to have boundaries with yourself. Like you make promises to yourself, like, hey, I want to better myself. But what are the actions that you're taking into this? And I think another consequence of this is the low self-esteem. And when you're living in this state of low self-esteem, you project that to others,
and others see and pick up on that.
And they treat you that way. Like they will say, like, if you're not respecting yourself, why would I respect you? Like, why would I give you better if you're not, you let me walk all over you? So that is, I think, another big consequence of not valuing yourself and having healthy boundaries.
I don't know where I read it. I was reading a book and it says you don't get in life what you want, you get in life what you are. So if you are a self-loathing person, you best believe you're going to get a self-loathing partner. You best believe you're going to get a boss that is self-loathing, that is loathing you, that is putting you down. You're going to be in friendships where you are not valued. You definitely get what you give. So whatever you put out, it is what you get. And it is like that. Sometimes people get in relationships and other people become the villain in their stories. But have you considered that you could be the villain in your story? What are you accepting?
And that might take into self-hatred, because you might be asking yourself, like, why am I getting all of this? Why are they treating me like this?
Something's wrong with me.
Something is wrong with me. But you should take a step back and really analyze, like, why is this happening to me? When, to be honest, you're the one allowing these to happen to you. So is the other the villain, the one that you're allowing to treat you like this? Or are you the villain in your story for letting all of this happen and not having enough boundaries to say, like, hey, I'm not up for this, I'm moving forward, or I'm moving on, like, I don't want this for myself. And sometimes it's hard to get
it is
there.
Hard it is hard.
Like, I've been in that situation and like learning where is my healthy boundary, what kinds of things I'm comfortable accepting from others. Like it's not an easy job, and even more when you're not taught, and
even more when you don't have friends. You know, you don't have a community of women or men around you, you know, speaking positively into you. Because if you're someone who is in an environment where you're not valued, it can be much harder to climb yourself out of that. We have a phrase in Jamaica, it says, crab in barrel trying to take me down. You know, crabs, like when they're in a bucket, they always try to crawl out, and the other crabs they try on their way down, try to push them down in order to get up. So if you're in a relationship, in a circle where that is the case, it can be really hard. It can be really fearful to go out on your own, leave the comfort of what you know, because your brain, it was wired for comfort. Your brain was designed by God to comfort you, to keep you safe, you know?
And if you grew up in an environment where you're not valued, that is what you know, that is what you feel comfortable around. And sometimes it happens that if you grew up feeling this way, if someone compliments you, you might feel that's uncomfortable, that's weird, like, oh, you're complimenting me. We might feel that this is out of character, or that we're not deserving of this because it's not what we're used to. And we might not say, like, if someone compliments, like, oh, you're so pretty, someone will say, like, no, or you will feel like
they have ulterior motives,
or that they are lying because you're not used to. Your circle and what you're used to influence a lot in these self-value. When you have a good circle, your friends will protect you, and if if they see that someone is walking all over you, they will say like, hey, don't treat my friend like that. So it is very important to have friends that value when sometimes you might not know how to value yourself.
That's true. One of the consequences of not valuing yourself is misery, because like everything that we've just said, you're in that situation, your friends, you chose bad friends, you're in a bad relationship, and you're not seeing anyone valuing you, and you think, oh my gosh, it is me, I am the problem. The Taylor Swift song, Me, I am the problem, it's me. You know, you feel like you're the problem, you blame yourself for all the bad that is happening in your life, and you become so miserable with yourself.
And that just keeps bringing in more misery. And it is hard to get out of this situation. It's very, very difficult when it's the only thing that
you've ever known.
It is a work in progress. It's not something that you will change in one day, or that you go to sleep and next day you value and you love yourself and you have healthy boundaries. No, it's something that you explore little by little, but you should start by yourself. Like, hey, change your negative self-talk. If there is something that you're not happy with yourself, how can I improve? How can I change? If you feel that people are not valuing how are you valuing yourself? Like what kind of things can you do to start loving yourself? And some people they don't know how to love themselves.
Read books.
Something that for me worked, it was affirmations. When I was going through certain things and I kind of lost a little bit of my path, I was like, what kind of things I can do to recover myself, how to
regain some of your self-esteem,
and love myself even more, like take myself out of it, because this is an individual work. Like we could be saying, or you could have a friend telling you like, hey, you're wonderful, hey, you're amazing, but if you don't believe it yourself, you will think that the people around you are lying, or like if you need to believe it yourself, you need to start by yourself, and you need to take the decision to change. Someone can tell you whatever, but if you don't take the decision yourself, it's gonna be hard, and this situation will continue. Sometimes something that I want to put out there is that life will teach us, like we will learn. We don't learn with love at the beginning when things are like not that big. We will end up learning with pain until we learn the lesson.
So you're saying if someone doesn't learn to value themselves in small matters, they will learn in bigger and more dangerous matters. And that is true. I think that we have to, like Anna said, change the talk that is happening in your mind. Look in the mirror and tell yourself the things you want other people to say to you. How can you expect other people to say beautiful things to you when you don't say beautiful things to yourself? A wonderful thought I heard some time ago is that treat yourself the way you would treat a friend if the friend was struggling, you know? Because when we have a friend, we say to the friend, oh, it's going to be okay, we'll work out for good, you are beautiful, we're fine. We're very kind to our friends or the people we care about. But then we're in private, in our secret chambers, and we are so mean, so aggressive to ourselves. So treat yourself as you would treat a friend.
And I would like to add as well, like remember, like protect your inner child. Remember that little person that went through all of the situations that only you know, and be kind about that, because a lot of people, they don't know all the battles you faced, you went through. So be kind to yourself. Would you treat the way you're currently treating yourself, your 3, 4, 5-year-old version of yourself? So be kind with that version. Like all of us, we have our internal child.
And the final thing I would like to say is, there's a scripture in the Bible. It says, love your neighbor as yourself. It has just dawned on me that if a lot of times we can't love other people because we don't love ourselves. How could I give love to my neighbor if I don't love myself? Do you think that might be the reason for some of the ills, the dangers, the bad things we're seeing happening in society? People are killing, raping, murdering, stealing, envying others because they don't love themselves. Like, have you thought about that? Love yourselves, be kind to yourselves, and let's break the cycles of not valuing
Please, yeah.
ourselves.
Let's start from within and spread all that love.
Yeah. And if you're watching this and you're struggling with self-value, self-worth, I just want to say you are loved. You are beautiful. You are wonderful, and you can do amazing things. This has been Better Together with Anna and Sabrina. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.